Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the people testifying today. On this chart, hopefully we'll wait for the camera to zoom in a little bit, but on this chart, it clearly shows how the prices for gasoline have gone up ever since President Biden took office and the Democrats took control of both the U.S. House of Representatives and the Senate. And, you know, in Arizona, prices are even higher than this. Gasoline prices in Arizona are $4.65 a gallon on average. In fact, Arizona has one of the highest, or the highest inflation rate in the entire country. And so, General McMaster, I have a question for you. Do you think it's a coincidence that gas prices started down here after Trump left office, and they have continually gone up, and even though the strategic oil reserves through the war in Ukraine, and now they are way up here. Do you think that's a coincidence, or do you think it's partially, at least, because of the Biden and Democrat policies and their war against American oil and gas?
Congresswoman, it's not a coincidence. As you alluded to, there are a number of factors at play, but it's not a coincidence.
Well, I totally agree with you, and that's why I call on President Biden and my Democratic colleagues to increase production of American oil and gas. I also think it's real interesting that Biden, when asked, one of his answers to the high price of gas was, well, buy an electric car. Buy an electric car. Well, first of all, electric cars are very expensive, and so not everybody can afford one, but electric cars and renewable energy require a lot of critical minerals, and a lot of those critical minerals are actually processed in China. And so, for instance, wind turbines, solar panels, they all require critical materials. Electric cars require 4 times the amount of copper than do a standard car. Yet, President Biden has closed down mines. There's a mine in Arizona called Resolution Copper Mine. Under the Trump administration, it was given the green light to go ahead and continue mining. When Biden was in office, after 2 months, he closed it down, couldn't mine. I went to visit there, and that mine would produce 25% of all of the copper that is consumed in the United States, including for electric vehicles. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the policies that President Biden and the Democrats have are hurting America, and they are causing the prices to go up. The other thing that I find very interesting is recently I was able to speak to former Secretary of State Pompeo. He was at a meeting, and he expressed how whenever he went to meetings with foreign countries, he would use U.S. energy dominance and U.S. energy as a negotiating tool when dealing with foreign countries. General McMaster, do you believe that the Biden and Democrats' war against U.S. oil and gas and their war on U.S. domestic mining hurts our national security?
Congresswoman, we have to do everything we can to increase energy security and, as you already mentioned, to make up for the complacency in the area of mining and access to minerals that are critical to the emerging global economy and the energy transition. So I agree with your broad point that we're behind and we have to make up for lost ground. Much of it's self-inflicted.
And I totally agree with you, General McMasters, and let's hope the American people will realize that the Democrat policies are hurting America and they're hurting Americans' pocketbook. And with that, I yield back.